Hello everyone, this is my Apex Legends Season 15 tier list. So today I'll be ranking all of the legends in the game and just comparing them to each other and seeing how good they are. So let's begin. Starting off with F tier, I have only two legends, and those are going to be Mirage and Revenant. These legends just aren't really particularly that great at anything. I mean, Mirage does allow you to deceive the enemies and just make some good plays, but overall it's just kind of weak. Revenant just doesn't do much really. The ultimate is just a bit mediocre and he has a massive hitbox. For E tier, this is going to be a very controversial pick, I think, but I'm going to put Octane here just because he only has one ability that is useful to the team, and that's his jump pad, which is easily overshadowed by almost any other movement ability. I mean, how even just Ash's ultimate, it does a very similar thing, allowing you to position across like a relatively long distance very quickly. But Octane's one is just very unsafe and overall only really good for like something like pubs. In D tier, I'm going to put Vantage, Catalyst, and Lifeline. I'm not really sure where to place them because Vantage is just overshadowed because all of her abilities are like, they're pretty good but don't really do much at the same time. Like her ultimate is a gun, it's a pretty good gun, and her tactical repositions well. And her passive gives good information, but overall they don't really make much of a difference in any plays you're going to make. Catalyst, I'm just not sure where to place this character, since of course she's new, and the problem I just see is that a lot of the time her abilities won't get much value, but of course since she's new, we're going to have to wait and see on that. Lifeline, she's just very overrated, I think, because her abilities, her tactical is pretty good, her passive is situational, and her ultimate is just kind of weak, but it provides cover and gives some decent loot, but it reveals your location to everyone on the map. And overall just overshadowed by any defensive legend really, example being Newcastle or Watson. Although she does have a very small hitbox, which is very useful and overall is definitely good in a game mode like pubs. And for C tier, I'm gonna start off with placing Pathfinder here. I think Pathfinder definitely needs a rework. The problem with this character now is just the fact that there's so many other options to scan a survey beacon, and they're all pretty much better than him. Especially with Valkyrie existing, because she fills the role of being able to scan beacons but also move the entire team very easily. My next pick is definitely going to be another controversial one probably, but I'm putting Wraith right next to Pathfinder. I think there's not much reason to run Wraith currently. Maybe if you're solo queue she might be pretty good, but I don't know, I don't really play solo queue anymore. But overall, there's not really much reason in my eyes to play this character other than just picking Ashe instead. And this pick is, I think, very fair because Bangalore, she's just a jack of all trades, middle of the road legend. Pretty good at anything, but not great at everything. There's just not much reason to play this character right now, I feel like, other than the fact that Seer and Bloodhound are very strong legends and you can combine them for a very annoying combo to play against. And lastly for C tier, I'm going to put Rampart here. She definitely has potential, but I think the problem is that her passive only applies to one of the weakest weapon classes in the game, that being LMGs. I think at the moment, the only real viable one that I can see people using is the Rampage. Her tactical is pretty good overall, although the problem is just getting it set up against an oppressive team will never really work, and her ultimate is alright, but the problem with that is that it's just a weapon and nothing more. So she has no real team utility with the ultimate other than just killing everyone. And now for B tier, these are all legends that I think are definitely viable and usable in high level play, and overall just very good viable legends. Starting off, I'm gonna put Caustic in B tier. I think at the moment he's still very strong, of course, but I think there's better options, or you just, and also the meta is just not very defensive at all. Although he is definitely in a good place at the moment. My next pick will be Crypto. Crypto is definitely, I think, an underrated legend, although I think on this new map, he's probably, I don't think he's that useful. I mean, how when playing even just ranked, I've only seen him out maybe 2 cryptos. My next pick will be Ash. I think Ash is a very useful legend, although a lot of the time overshadowed because a lot of the time I think you'll just be using her ultimate to gain a height or to run away, of which another legend just is a lot better at gaining height. Or you could have another legend on your team to be better at you doing long rotations. Although her passive is extremely useful, being able to tell where people are, but her tactical is just relatively weak, although I'd still argue could be better than Wraith's Phase. My next pick for B tier will be Fuse. Fuse definitely has a lot of potential, and I can see him becoming meta soon, even with just one change or one character nerf that could put him right up into meta. Especially the fact that he combos with one of the best legends in the game at the moment. And lastly, rounding out B tier, I'm going to put Mad Maggie. Yeah. Which, if anyone's seen any of my content, you'll know that I'm mostly a Mad Maggie main. So you might be surprised to see me put her here, but I think she is usable, very usable, but definitely needs some work on the ultimate at least, but definitely on consistency of the abilities. Now for A tier, I think most people could agree that all of the legends here deserve a spot here where they are. Starting off, I think we should put Valkyrie in A tier. Valkyrie is still an extremely good legend and definitely has a spot on the meta composition that we all see along NA in every single game on all 20 teams. She's, even after the nerfs, she's still an extremely strong legend, and overall is just definitely worth picking for the long rotation and the fact that she can scan survey beacons, and also just the strong free mobility that you can gain with her. Next up in A tier, I will put Gibby here. Gibby is definitely still an extremely strong legend, and especially the fact that he's not gotten any nerfs. But the only problem with him now is that all of the legends that are currently being used lots just sort of deal with him relatively easily and can kind of counter him relatively well. Next up, Bloodhound. Bloodhound is still an extremely strong legend and it always has been. But the only problem with Bloodhound is just, of course, the meta getting more and more intense with the abilities, and just overall utility of the abilities in use are just way too strong compared to scanning the area and revealing all 3 members for 3 seconds. Next up might be a surprising pick, but Watson. Watson has seen a lot of use recently in high tier play and has a lot of potential, definitely. Especially with the fact that she can bunker up very easily in a building efficiently and block any ordnances and grenades incoming her way if placed properly. And also the fact that she has a very small hitbox and can get her ultimate up and running very quickly with any ultimate accelerants. And second to last, we have Newcastle. Newcastle is definitely an extremely strong legend, of course. I don't really think there's any problems with him. Everyone just knows that he's extremely strong and probably will be for a very long time. And lastly for A tier, we have Loba. Loba is definitely very strong. The only issues I see with her is that she can't pick up teammates' banners with her ultimate, and that her tactical is kind of a bit awkward and finicky to use, especially with the fact that it gains no height really with it. And the cooldown is the same length every single time, even if you throw it 2 meters in front of you or 200 in front of you, even though it's not possible. But overall, these are the good legends, and we're upcoming onto the 2 extremely broken and definitely needing nerf legends. Now, you all probably saw this coming, it's Horizon. Horizon is just way too strong and an oppressive legend, being able to propel the entire team onto high ground in 3 seconds at most with a very short cooldown on her tactical. A very strong passive as well, being able to just land on people and kill anyone pretty much. And her ultimate being able to wipe full teams if used effectively. And lastly, we have the pick that everyone definitely saw coming, that being Seer. Seer is just extremely overpowered with the fact that he can scan anyone within 75 meters constantly. And the fact that he can cancel anyone's heals very easily and reveal their health bar, so you know exactly who to push and who to kill. And his ultimate being able to reveal everyone in an area, if the ultimate is placed properly and doesn't get destroyed if they are not moving, is just really, really strong. Especially with the fact that the cooldown on it is pretty short. But yeah, that's about it for the tier list. I think there is definitely some changes that could be made, and I'm not 100% on some of these picks, example being Catalyst. But overall, with the higher tier, I do pretty much agree with everything I said, of course, because I've said it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any comments or thoughts, please share them. So yeah, see ya.